And they're doing this every day as I leave now. Every day they're stalking because I've put stuff online. You can see how they've increased this. So you can see them right there. That pizza is closed, and they're just sitting there knowing. You can see this is right where I come up the street too. This is threatening, harassment, and intimidation. Every night as I go to work, they don't do any real work. They enable the drug trade, they enable the distribution of hard narcotics, and we're going to get their faces on camera here. On camera and put them right in the thumbnail. Stupid games. People are a disgrace. Car number 66, okay? Hello? Hello? I just wanted to ask you, can you possibly tell me where the promenade is?
Promenade is?
Yeah.
Everything's going to be closed, but if you continue on Boulevard Quebec, this road,
okay.
It's going to be like maybe a kilometer away.
Oh yeah, because it's a stat holiday today too, right?
Yeah.
I forgot about that, yeah. Okay, thanks man, you guys have a good night. Yeah, thank you. His face is going right online tomorrow. Right in the thumbnail. You can see how obvious that is there. The reason I do that is because I want to show you the people who are involved in these things. They know fully well what they're doing, and they're parked there to stalk and threaten. It's to send a message of threatening and intimidation. While I go to my job, that's what they're doing. They're literally just parked there doing nothing and facing towards right where I'm going to come up the street. With hardly, look at, like I said to him, it's a stat holiday. I knew it was, I just pretended I didn't, that I had forgotten that it was New Year's Day. But, so New Year's Day, and you can see every day, pretty much every day they're doing this now. And it is precisely, the reason they're doing it so regularly is because you can see I've shown them online. And it's to threaten and intimidate and retaliate. These people are a joke. They're an absolute joke. So we're going to put them online again there. You can see every day what they're doing. And you can tell whoever their supervisor or whoever just tells them this is where you're going to be precisely here, and you sit there and do nothing while I come up the street. Those are supposed to be your public servants in Quebec. Think about that, people. Think about that. But you can see the people who are involved in it, and that's a good thing. Because they're not going to be held accountable with this corrupt judicial system that is a fucking joke. Real crime is going on right now. That is what your police are doing here in Gatineau, Quebec. With everything else quiet, no one around, they're told to just sit there and face towards right where I'm coming up the street with nothing going on. So I'm going to say, that's to send a message. Again, I'm sending a message right back. I'm going to put that guy's face right online and show you that these are the people who are supposed to be serving the public and who are doing things like this. There's no legitimacy to that. You can't say it's plausible deniability. It's every day. It's outright stalking. Okay. So they don't believe I have a right to go to my job, but without being threatened. So don't worry. There's going to be a lot of stuff about these pathetic jokers. I don't care if their judicial system insulates them either, because I know you'll have some fucking Freemason judge or something. If you file a claim against these people, that's what'll happen. They'll just go in and lie and be able to lie and fucking say. So that's why I just want to show people, and that's why it's important to record these things. They're just an absolute joke. And that's look at this here. That's all throughout the country, not just here, not just in one spot. Look at this here. So this person's pulling into an empty parking lot right as I arrive here. I'm just sitting there. I don't know how that went with the light. I think I got his face, but there wasn't a lot of light there. It was dim light, so I don't know how clear it was, but that's okay. what happens with the fire department, if you say anything to them about it, they'll just swarm you and surround you. So, like the one day where they were stalking me at my workplace, basically. They had a fake call, and they would always show up there continually. So I came outside where they were positioned, right where I would see them, because I was at the desk, just inside the doors. And so I came out and was filming them, and they're trained to do this thing. You could tell 100% that the training is the same for both the fire department and the police, because they would react exactly the same way. If they knew you were filming, they would all do like this disarming sort of waving motion, waving at the camera and kind of smiling. And that's just to be disarming, to make it seem like, yeah, we're just, you know what, we're just here for... And also kind of, maybe it's kind of mockery, I don't know. But since then, I've seen the police do that constantly. If they see you're filming. Now, if you have camera glasses on, they don't always know that you are, but I think at this point, the cops do know that I film with the camera glasses, obviously, here. And in Toronto, they know that too. And in Ottawa, they all do. But the thing is, that's what they're taught. So you can tell that's a protocol, because people don't always react the same way, right? People are going to react differently according to their personalities and whatnot. But they would always react that way. So there would be the wave. So anyway, the fire department, I spoke to the guy and I asked him, I said, hey, there's a lot of Freemasons in the fire department, isn't there? And he admitted it. He said, yeah, there is. He was honest about that. And he told me that his old district chief in Toronto had been a master mason. He admitted to that too, very openly. But then as soon as I said, yeah, you know what? You might not like to hear this, but I feel like I'm being stalked by the fire department. Right away, he just starts, he could see he waved his hand. Because I was just talking to the one guy, and the others were kind of around the truck. Immediately when he waved his hand, they came around and encircled me. They stood all around me to intimidate. And that's when I said, okay, the conversation's over, because I got what I needed, and I got him to admit that there were a lot of Masons in the fire department. I didn't think he would, but he did tell the truth about that. But that's what they do. With the fire department, they will do that. They will surround you to intimidate you. Encircle you to try and, kind of make you feel intimidated if you're talking to one of them and you put them on the spot about it. It's all about outnumbering a person and isolating them and doing things like that. And you could tell the way they did that, the way he waved his hand, they were trained, and that's how they handle people who are being targeted. So they know 100% about the program. It's protocol, and you could tell by what he did there that this was the way they had been trained if someone puts them on the spot about that. It's very telling, that video. Because you could clearly see he made a hand gesture, then they all came around me, and I didn't keep filming them at that point. I said, okay, that's all, and I'm going back in. Because if I would have engaged in more conversation and accused them, they would have right away messed with my job. They would have gone to my employer and said something. I know that they did anyway. They did anyway in the end, actually, in Toronto. That Toronto Fire Department essentially got me terminated from the one job just for documenting what they were doing to me and for reporting it. So you can see here, over here, sitting there, lights on, everything quiet here. Another stalker coming out there. Yeah, so they did end up doing that. What happened was the fire chief called my employer, and they were already working to sabotage my job in that area anyway. That was just a job I had taken quickly after leaving the good paying job that I had before that. And I just took something because I needed something quickly and had been working there, and it was a lot lower paying. But so that had been the first time I had been terminated from a position. I was 41 at that time. Was that? Yeah, 41, yeah. So in all those years, never terminated, and it was completely unjust, but I just said, okay, you know what, whatever. And then fortunately I had that second job at the time still, because I had been working 2 jobs. And then, of course, after coming to Ottawa, the Ottawa police start doing the same thing that the Toronto police had been doing, showing up at my workplace all the time, turning on sirens all through the night, driving around and around. But the difference was, in Toronto, that place was a little bit busy, and so they could pull it off a bit more natural. In Ottawa, it was at a really, just, the place is totally dead. at night. And for the first month I worked, it was completely quiet. And then they started doing these things again, as I figured they would. And then I reported it. Abruptly, the guy just calls me for a meeting and terminates me without giving any reason. And unfortunately, in Ontario, as per the laws, you can do that. It's completely unjust, but I'm gonna wait till the stalker goes ahead. But you can do that. You don't have to give a reason, unless it's discrimination. You can prove discrimination. But so that's what they did, and that wasn't okay. I mean, that wasn't a great paying job, but it was a lot better than the last one I had before. It was okay. It was not too bad. And I had to get a security clearance to work in that specific area too. So I passed the security clearance and all that. So how the heck are they, like, to be able to pass that? How you have no criminal record and nothing like that, yet they still somehow put me on this watch list. So it's just illegitimate. It's a disgrace. They're doing this to other people too. My concern is, what I think is happening is these people are too intimidated to try to expose it. And I wish more of them really would. It's hard, but to do so in a dignified way, or try your best to, under the circumstances. I wish more people would do that. It's unfortunate, like I would be more than willing to support any of those people in going to court over this and doing what we could, but it's just hard to find people here who are legitimate. There's so many people who they'll send in who are fakes, and it's just, that's the point though. Here's a one headlight. Look at this right here. Look at this here, obviously. And then look at this here. Rats. Interesting. I wonder what they're talking about there. You wrote it 3 times too. Yeah, it's just, it's unfortunate, because if you could have enough people, or even a small number of people who are willing to really go into trying to expose it on first of all, in a legitimate way, in a credible way, and also utilizing the legal system, it could, that would cause problems for them. So that's why they don't want those real people to be able to communicate. And sadly, like most of the people who, I'm not saying, like, I think I have communicated with some people who are legitimate, but I don't know for sure, because I haven't met any of these people, right? You don't know until you meet people who they really are. You can't just gauge that from, you can kind of get something from their personality with corresponding, but you can't fully gauge who they really are unless you've known them for a little bit of time. And even then, sometimes it's hard, but so that's one thing where they have, it's very difficult, because if you don't have some sort of support system, even if that person's willing to work really, really hard to expose it, you're always better if you have like a group. And that's why it's all about isolating the person. So even though this is happening to other people, and I'm sure there would be people who would be very capable of working together towards some sort of a positive change in that, it's so difficult to get in contact with those people and really organize something to expose it. So, but you never know. You want to stay optimistic. But one headlight here. Look at this as well. Another one here, just sitting there idling. Everything's closed here. You can see all closed. And we got them just sitting there with a one headlight. Like I said, these parking lots are kind of surveillance hubs for these people. And so just have a lot of them around holding a phone, sitting there. You can see one headlight on. Something smells good. It smells like breakfast is cooking. Another one behind at the back there. Just gonna sit back here. notice behind the Harveys too there, which is closed. That one. Oh, another one headlight. So look over here. You just saw that one there, and then you see a taxi on that side with one headlight on as well. So car right here with one headlight, the burgundy colored one, and then the taxi over there also facing towards me. So that one was facing towards me as I came down, and then this one here directly towards me there. And that's two right there, one right across from another, both with one headlight off. And now this one's just pulling out just as I pass. You can see this here now. Yeah, that one there. So you can see how close, what a close proximity. Now what's the probability? What do you think is the probability that both of these people just forgot or just didn't notice or whatever that their headlight was off right across from each other? Do you think that's normal? Probably not, right? Especially considering the fact that you see like around 5 or 6 of them every night when I leave as well, on average. Oh well, you can find some comfort in knowing that they're going to do that to other people too. Here we go. I thought we were going to get some peace, but no way. Check this out, folks. Here we go. Fucking. Look at this. No siren. Notice, right there. You turn it. No siren. Notice, right there. You turn it on right there. Right side of the street, I think. Idling out the lights on just as I exit. As I come down. Probably drive away or back in as I come down there. Just on the right side. Just sitting there idling. Give me a break. Okay. Move along here. As soon as this zombie gets in here, I'm gonna move along. This is obviously another phone too. Check it out. Let's see what's going on here. This here. Look at the timing here. See this here? U-turn right there. Right in front of me. See that? So they came down there just to make that U-turn directly in front of me. Very obvious. Threatening and intimidation again as I leave for work from the drug trafficking, Masonic, corrupt police here. And then they're turning in right down there where I'm going to go for the next stop up here. most unprofessional, poorly trained police in any. It's not even like being in a first world country here. I mean, but there they are. There, the drug trafficking frauds. Here we go, right here in front of me as I come down here. Look at this. Look at this. So they did a U-turn there. See right here. Right here. What? Something wrong? Is something wrong? I don't understand. What did you say? Okay. Well, you just pulled up right in front of me and stopped, so that's why I asked. No, I was just pointing the camera at you because you show up every time I leave for work. And yeah, like every single time I leave for work, you show up. You did a U-turn right in front of me, came back around, went in there, did another U-turn, and you pull in front of me, and then you look at me and stop, as if I've done something wrong. Yeah, you can easily say that and make that up. So, yeah, so what's the probability, sir? What's the probability that every single time a person leaves, the police show up? In 2 different provinces and 3 different cities. Do you think that's, do you think, sir? Allow me to finish what I'm saying. Do you think that's normal? Or are you told to do that? I think it's obvious.
Have a good night, sir.
Yeah, you have a good night too. You're stalkers. You are. Yeah, you're on camera too. See you on YouTube.